One last video from me before I go on my trip. I'm going to be in California and Idaho for an event. And I want to thank Steve Shives for stepping in and guest hosting while I'm away. But this is tangentially related to that. And it's the criminally underappreciated creators, underwatched creators. Steve Shives is one of them. But Garrison Hayes is the other. And I want to talk about this video that I ran across from him on Instagram and on TikTok. And I'm going to play it here. But if you're not subscribed to Garrison Hayes, you need to correct that deficiency right away, because you're missing out on amazing content that not only sets the record straight relative to history, but also gives you the ammunition you need to go into conversations with conservatives and with racists like Charlie Kirk that you might even have in your family. You know, there's every year around Christmas time, around Thanksgiving, there's consternation and anxiety that's put on display and talked about how do we navigate these spaces with our families, with racist Uncle Gary at the Thanksgiving table. And if you watch creators like Garrison Hayes, you will be provided the answers. You will be provided the ammunition you need to go into metaphorical battle with those people in your life. So here, I'm going to play this clip. This is a 2-minute or so Instagram reel and TikTok that he posted in answer to the racist, white supremacist arguments coming from Charlie Kirk about black crime. And it's something you hear all the time. Now, the answers that you're going to hear from Garrison Hayes aren't what you hear all the time.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay. Let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the US government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates them? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the US, he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong. The word "so" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
So
Exactly.
blacks commit more crimes.
He's saying "so" as in therefore, as in one could conclude, but Charlie knows he's lying. Even if he hadn't just lied about the black prison population, Charlie is smart enough to know that correlation does not equal causation, but he's hoping that you don't know that. So he deploys the word "so" to make you think he's coming to an obvious conclusion.
Exactly.
So blacks
Instead, he's making an illogical racist leap. Charlie knows that we don't have usable data about who commits crimes. It's impossible to have that data since so many crimes go both unreported and or unsolved. Charlie knows that we only have data about arrests and convictions. I'll come back to that data in a moment. What's painfully obvious is that Charlie Kirk isn't interested in understanding the statistics he so carelessly misquotes. He's interested in making bad faith arguments, something that becomes even more obvious in his next point.
blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Wrong again, and loud this time. If Charlie were interested in honesty, he would have mentioned the other 1350 statistic. Yes, black people are about 13% of the population, but make up 53% of all criminal exonerations. In fact, black people make up 55% of all murder exonerations specifically. Black people are more likely than any other group in this country to be convicted of crimes they did not commit. And then people like you have the nerve to parade these stats around as though they prove something. The reality is that you probably know these stats, but you leave them out on purpose because to bring that stat into this conversation would make some people think. And that's the last thing a person like you wants.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, what's not amazing is that Garrison Hayes doesn't have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. That Garrison Hayes and creators like him are criminally underappreciated, criminally undersubscribed to, because they are doing yeoman's work. They are doing a service by answering racism and white supremacy like you just witnessed come out of the twitchy, Zeppelin-headed freak's head in Charlie Kirk. Like I've gotten have the privilege to have gotten to know Garrison a little bit. And he is a man with a good and decent heart who has a mind and a heart for justice, just like I know you do in this audience. So go subscribe to Garrison Hayes. Go subscribe to some creators out there. Do a little research and find some who are not on everybody's radar. Tell everybody in the comments. Let's have a conversation about these creators that we can follow. Who can I signal boost on top of Garrison Hayes? I would love to know. You can obviously comment below. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054, or you can email me daily@dollemore.com. You know, another is Brittany Page. She's another one. There are all kinds of creators out there, creators of color, women who are in this space, and all the time or too often time gets gobbled up by straight white men in this particular genre on YouTube. And I want to do whatever I can do to correct that, to put people in front of you that you can go subscribe to and support. So thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. And follow me on social media. If you want to luxuriate in misery with me on social media, do not sign up to do it. But if you're already there, you can follow me there. @Dollemore is where I am. I'd love to see you. Have a great week. I'll see you when I get back from my trip. Be genuine. Take care of one another.